Hi guys, thoughts on maintenance part 2. I've already done one called part 1, surprisingly. So this one is very much about the mindset that I think I have needed to get into in order to maintain. If you're still losing weight, I think that this is equally valid, what I'm about to say, with the perspective of losing weight hat on. So actually all I did was continue those, the way I was behaving, and or rather the way I was thinking towards my weight loss, and I've carried exactly that same mentality through into maintenance. So when I first got to goal and first lost my 7.5 stone, which is over 4 years ago now, I went through a phase of feeling really, really angry that I couldn't go back to my old way of eating and my old rules around food. In the past, I'm always a very successful dieter. I've done pretty much every diet under the sun, and I always lose weight. But my history had been that I just put it all straight back on again afterwards, and more every single time, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I knew something had to be different this time. And the reason I got angry was because in the past, when I'd lost the weight, I'd be holding out for that goal of getting to goal, getting the weight off. And then it was literally, I used to describe it as a switch going in my brain, click out of, right, I'm dieting, and now, thank God for that, back to how I want to be, how I want to eat. And I could feel it going as soon as I started to introduce certain types of food as I was back to eating normally again. And when I realised that I couldn't go back to doing it, just getting to goal and going, great, done it, fantastic, where's the food, and looking for it, when I realised I couldn't do that this time because my history had been that way of dealing with things had never ever worked for me before, and I just put the weight back on again, that made me really angry. Really, really angry. I was so cross that I couldn't just, that I'd done it, I got to go, oh, what a relief, but I can't still relax around food for a little while. You do in the end, you get there in the end, trust me. 4 years down the line, I am relaxed around food now, but it's taken a while, and accepting that was a massive part of successful maintenance for me. That the acceptance that I had to now transition, and I couldn't just go back to doing what I had before. So if I have any tip to give you, if you take anything from the mindset thing about maintenance, it's the accepting that you cannot go back to the way you were before. Someone on our Cambridge Weight Plan Maintenance Madness group, I think it was Laura Jeffrey, said a great quote, which was, and now I'm going to forget it, if I eat what I always ate, I'll weigh what I always weighed. And I think that a lot to myself, and it's really, really true. The second thing I'd say about maintenance mindset is it's hard, and I don't always manage it, but that's okay. I guess it's that there is a part of me that still wants to use food, and that's where the anger comes in again, isn't it? I still want to use it for dealing with the times when I would have used food before, and for me that was to dumb down and literally numb any difficult feelings that I was feeling, even minor things like a bit of boredom, anything difficult that I just didn't want to sit with. I couldn't do that anymore, and that is hard when you want to. So that is what I think is hard about maintenance, is not being able to go back to those old ways, old programs, old techniques of coping. I also used food to celebrate, as we all do, and I think that in hindsight, what I did was use the food to enhance those lovely feelings that I was feeling. I didn't want them to stop, and so let's continue them and make them even more intense and strong, those nice feelings, by eating as well, because scientists have proven that eating, particularly carbohydrates, but any form of eating, releases our feel-good hormones and our reward hormones. So it's no wonder it's a survival response inside of us that bonds us as a community. So it's no wonder that this happens. So that's the kind of mindset stuff that I'm talking about. There goes my son picking up his phone that he left. I view maintenance as a gift. So it is something that I give myself every day, in just the same way as I thought of my weight loss as this is something I'm doing for me to look after me. I think of maintenance in exactly the same way. If I start to feel at all resentful or that I don't want to do it, then I feel trapped, and then I just rebel. And so I try every single day to think of how I am continuing to gift myself with this wonderful thing of being slim and looking after myself. So I don't, if I find myself falling into the trap of feeling resentful that I'm eating something and that I'd rather have the chocolate or whatever, not that I never have chocolate, I do have chocolate, I'll hasten to add, but I just try and think of it as it's a gift I'm giving myself, and not to feel resentful. I consider that I'm always learning, always learning and finding out new ways. I certainly don't know it all about maintenance, and if I look at it with that view of this is my learning hat on, then I don't feel if I do put on weight that I've messed it up and that I've failed. Why would I have succeeded? Why would I be able to do this when I've never ever done it in the past before? And so I try to think of every single day as if there was a part of the day where it didn't quite go to plan, and maybe I ate more chocolate than I should have done. Instead of thinking, oh, I can't do this, I've never been able to maintain before, I'm never going to be able to do it, I just think, learning hat on, try to be curious about this whole process. What can I learn? What can I do differently? And that attitude of learning and curiosity and fascination about maintenance, it has been really, really helpful in addressing my mindset about it. It's one great big huge experiment in me and my food issues and my ability to maintain. And sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay, it's all good, because actually the trickier times are the times when I unpick a little bit more about me and my relationship with food, and that's still ongoing. 4 years into this, it's still ongoing. I still keep a what I call my food and feelings journal, just to get me to stop and think, rather than falling into again that pattern of I can't do it, to get me to think about what needs to be done differently. I still keep today 4 years into this a journal of what's gone great and what's gone not so great in the day, and what can I do differently. So I spend a little bit of time every single evening just jotting down what I've eaten and why I ate what I ate. I ask myself all the time with food, is this worth it? So last week we had 2 events. We had my daughter's graduation from university, where we all went out as a family for dinner to a pub, and then we had my son's 18th birthday, where we went to Marcus Waring up in town. If any of you know him, he's a great chef, Michelin star chef, and it's a bit of a tradition now in our family that when they turn 18, because my husband and I like eating at Michelin starred restaurants, we treat the children. And so there you go. Anyone watching this thinking I eat rabbit food, I do not eat rabbit food all the time. I eat at some really top-notch restaurants. But what I do is I balance it, every single bit of it. So at the pub, I didn't have pudding because nothing really appealed, and so I just had a coffee. And I asked myself as I was looking at the menu, is it worth it? Is it worth the fact that I'm going to have to pare back and be really, really strict tomorrow if I eat this? Marcus Waring, hell yeah, it was worth it. It was absolutely delicious, and I had wines to match, and that was worth it. So I balance everything that I choose to do. There's a consequence to any food I put in, and I have to face that and deal with that. So it takes enormous commitment and determination and effort to maintain, and the moment I become a little bit complacent about it and think, yeah, I've got this, I shake it all up a bit. So I've done lots and lots of different forms of maintenance, which I've talked about in, I think that's what I talked about in the last video that I did. If not, it'll be coming in the next one. But I always make myself just go back to basics again if I start being a little bit laissez-faire. It's not that maintenance is hard, but you cannot take your eye off the ball with it, or there are consequences, and that's fine. If there are consequences, you just deal with them. You know, we've all found, most of us have found Cambridge Weight Plan now, and we know that we can just move up and down those steps as we need to, and we have that tool now to lose the weight if we need to, and that's brilliant. So if I start to get a little bit, I'll often just shift down back onto the steps again, and I will just make myself have a sort of back to basics session. So I hope that's helped. It's very much about, I can do this, and if I'm struggling, how do I learn? What do I need to do differently? And I can do it, and so can you. I've been doing it 4 years now, so it is possible.